And I want to talk about making money online. It goes the same thing. You know, I want to let's keep that on that video, because we're gonna cut this and we're gonna put this on YouTube later, so we get we maximize, you know, what we're doing. And the key that I think to starting a successful website is first research. You got to research before you start training. All right? You got to know exactly who you're going to fight. What fight do you want to pick up? What website do you want to start? You know, and I think it's all about right now, the biggest trend on the internet is helping people. It's, you know, like my websites help people through foreclosure. You know, and I talked about this last week. You know, you got to identify trends, and you got to do your research. And one of these websites that you could research, and I had mentioned it before, is wordtracker.com. Again, that's wordtracker.com. And then you could also type in Google, if you choose to. Go to Google, and you could type in free keywords tracker. And they have a little free keywords tool that you could use, and you could research what people are searching for on the internet. All right? You might have this great idea that you think is all fine and dandy, and you're going to make all this money, and, you know, you're going to retire in a year after you build the website. But what if nobody's searching for that great idea? That might be a great idea after all, but hey, only 2 people are searching for it a month. You're not going to make any money if you do that. You got to build a website for something that people are searching for. And that's where trends come in. That's where being able to identify, you know, future trends is really important. And if you know current problems right now, you're going to be able to identify future trends. Or current events predict future trends. It's really simple. You don't have to be Nostradamus, you know, and it does take a little bit of a gamble, but it's a calculated gamble. Okay? So what are the current problems that we're having right now? The current problems that we're having right now deal with debt, deal with loans, deal with, you know, Wall Street, deals with investments. You know, you could start a website on investments, maybe safe investments. Actually, I know for a fact that a website like that would do really good. If you duplicated what I did with loansafe.org, I actually have a domain name. If anybody out there wants to contact me, you can. And it's called Investment Safe. I just don't have time to develop it. Okay? And you could be an advocate for investors out there. And you don't have to be an expert on investments or investment advice or anything like that. You could do the research and you post the information on your blog. And you now become the go-to guy for new investors or investors out there looking for safe investments. That's who comes to my website, are consumers looking for safe information on mortgages, on loans, on credit. And that's how I'm able to make a living online, is through, you know, the Google AdSense that I work with. I'm an affiliate publisher. And it was great. They sent me a card the other day for Valentine's Day. Thank you, Google. You know, you don't get that too much out there, but I'm very happy with them right now. So you could start a website just on investments, safe investments, because people are leery of the the investment brokerages out there and the advisors, because they're sharks and they screwed them, you know, during this crisis, and they're looking for safe areas. So safe investments could be an area. Safe debt help. You know, anything on debt consolidation. You know, you got all these mortgage brokers that are jumping into the business, you know, and they all want to make quick money and, do all this debt repair and help all these people struggling with debt. But most of their websites are crap, and all they're looking to do is get their lead and sell them, you know, some kind of $2,000 debt reduction program or whatever they got going on, as opposed to giving them value and thinking long term. If one of these mortgage guys would put as much time as they do into making these big, you know, $3,000 commissions, why don't they do it into providing some help to the consumer and giving them free information and letting them do it by themselves? I guarantee your website would be successful if you did that. But are you willing to wait? Are you willing to wait for the money to come and to build a website and give away free information and not make money for 3 months, 6 months sometimes? You know, if you are, that's how you build a successful website. A patient person, one that understands that it will come, the money will come, if they do their research, if they provide value to the surfers that are surfing the internet for information, and Google, who has an 85% share in search engine, people who visit search engines. So if you provide a good website, you write how-to articles on, say, investments, how-to articles on debt, And then maybe you start a forum talking about that, those same things. And then you provide free advice. Maybe you're working a job on the side, and when you get home, you write these articles and you work 6 hours and you help people in the forum, and you understand that I'm not getting paid now, but I'm going to get paid later. Okay? It's called you're seeding, you're putting the seeds in the ground, and then you're watering it, and then you're picking out the weeds, and then slowly they sprout and they grow and they produce fruits. That's what your actions will do over time. And I'm living proof of that. I didn't make money at first with loansafe.org or loanworkout.org. And I gave away the free information. You could do that with the debt. You could do that with investments. You could do that. I talked about that on previous shows. Divorce. A lot of people are getting divorced, unfortunately, out there. Maybe you suffered a divorce. You don't have to be an expert in divorce. Maybe you never even had a divorce. But you could start a website in divorce, and there's a lot of people getting divorced, and they need help. And maybe you could have an attorney referral service, or maybe you could have a local attorney advertise on your website. It's that simple. And there's different websites that you can go to, but, all my websites, they run off a free content management system. It's a blogging, you can call it a blogging software, a website software, and that's called WordPress. WordPress.com. A lot of the big players right now, I think even the LA Times, New York Times, but many of the Huffington Post is on a different type of content management system, but they're essentially blogging platforms that even these big news players are operating from and publishing content from. And it's so easy. Yes, there's a little learning curve, with WordPress or any of these other blogging systems, but once you get into it, there's very little technical knowledge needed to operate and start producing and publishing articles, and you could do this tomorrow.